Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks. Labor's Local 663 reminds us, hey, drive carefully in the work zones. Everybody wants to go home safely. Also presented by the Bank of Billings, established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Labor's Local 663, shelter insurance agents Grant Baker in Aurora and Sean Holman in Lockwood. Great Southern Bank, Chevy dealers of the Ozarks, and Doak Propane. We welcome to the show your Springfield Catholic Fighting Irish head coach Jack Simpson, 22-6, playing for a district championship tonight. Coach, congratulations.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you having us on.
Coach, just kind of run through the district there. You get Camdenton and then Glendale. Coming into this game, talk about those two contests.
Yeah, Campton, that was our first game in 11 days. Since we got in the TOC, we had to drop a couple at the end, and so I thought we played hard. We just looked a little rusty, a little bit, and then Glendale, we got off to just a great defensive start, held them to 3 points in that first quarter, and that kind of jumped us into putting us in a good position to win that game.
Now you've got Rolla, and I don't believe you played Rolla this season. What do you know about the Bulldogs?
Uh, they can really shoot the basketball. So that's your typical Raleigh team. They, at least from what I remember, they always shoot the ball well. They run a lot of sets. They'll slow the game down a little bit, and they just kind of know who they are and what they are, and I think that makes them a really dangerous team, and they're really good. I mean they've got 20 wins for a reason.
As you look back on your schedule and you kind of the late add into the Bass Pro Tournament of Champions, talk about that experience and how does the schedule kind of prepared you to make this district run.
Yeah, I think our schedule, I would put it up against almost anyone's. At this point, we played Nixa twice and Kickapoo once. Played in the TOC. Played Republic. Went to Arkansas. Played three good teams in Northwest Arkansas. So played Webb City. So I think the schedule is can really help you, especially this time of year. And because when you play closer games, you need to be in some of those dogfights that we've kind of been in, and we plan to be in another one tonight, hopefully.
What health wise, you guys relatively healthy. You're 30 games into a season, 6 months. It's basketball is such a long season. Where are you at right now? You pretty healthy?
Yeah, yeah. I think our rotation guys are healthy. We had at the end of the year actually we had Cam Kruger, who's a pretty big rotation piece for us. He went down with a concussion, was out for a couple weeks, but we got him back, and he had some really good moments against Glendale. So fortunately for us, we are healthy. And like you said, basketball is a extremely long sport, and we just hope to continue playing in March.
Coach, as you look back at your schedule, was there a point during the season where you felt like you maybe turned a corner? Maybe it's coming out of the Tournament of Champions, even though you lost three, but you're playing nationally ranked teams there. Was there a point in the season where you felt like, hey, we've got a chance or an opportunity to make a run?
I think, I kind of think the turning point for us was actually in the blue and gold semis against Nixa when we got that 1 point win against them because we just knew just how good Nixa was, and we knew the talent they had, and that was kind of more of like getting over that mental hump of saying, okay, we're pretty good. If we can beat Nixa, we can kind of compete with anyone, what we felt like in the state, and so I think that was maybe our turning point, and then just trying to dial everything in to get you playing the best basketball now, and I think we started to do that in January and February.
Again, visiting with Springfield Catholic Fighting Irish head coach Jack Simpson and Coach Simpson, a Kickapoo grad. You played basketball at Milliken, came back as a head coach maybe up at Carrollton, and then you come into this situation. What's your first year at Catholic? What's been maybe the most challenging thing that you've had to deal with?
Um, you know, I don't. That's a really tough question for me. One thing with being here right now is we have such a strong senior class. Right now, I would probably say the most challenging thing is we have some juniors that are pretty talented and some younger guys that are pretty talented that might be getting some varsity opportunities at other schools. But just because we have, we're 8 seniors deep and they play the bulk of our minutes, there's not many minutes to go around. So just trying to keep those guys, not happy because, they're great kids, but just, keep them on board and keep them focused as well, even though they might not be as, as big of a piece this year as they'd like to be. That's probably the biggest challenge for this year for me.
What if I open up the paper tomorrow and Springfield Catholic comes out victorious? What's one or two stats that you're going to point to and say, hey, we won this battle here, where maybe it was turnovers, maybe it was free throws. What's a stat that you're going to look at and say, hey, that's why we won the game?
Yeah, I really think in order for us to win the game, we have to dominate the glass on both ends. We kind of preach one and dones, defensively, and if you give Raleigh 2 shots at it, they're probably going to score one. They're that good offensively, and then they zone a lot of teams. So I'm expecting some kind of zone tonight, and that might give us an opportunity on the offensive glass to go in there and attack the offensive glass. And so I think rebounding is extremely important tonight, and with that, I think the 3-point line is extremely important. If they make 8 or 9 or 10 threes, that they're going to be really tough to beat. And so kind of limiting that 3-point line and maybe taking that way a little bit, and at least making them tough. If we kind of win that 3-point battle, I think we'll have a good chance.
You bet. Well, Coach, I always appreciate you being generous with your time here, and we look forward to watching the outcome. It's a shame that these districts could not have gotten together a little bit and kind of staggered, especially in Class 5 and 6. You're going to not play for 8 days. You could have staggered these championships. There's a bunch of good basketball tonight.
So I mean, matter of fact, me and some of the guys were laughing because we were like, man, we didn't play tonight. We'd love to go watch that Kickapoo Nixa game because that's about to be just probably a dog fight in Joplin. So a lot of good teams still playing in this area, a lot of good basketball left, and that's what makes this time of year so fun.
You bet. Well, Coach Simpson, hey, best of luck, and come out on top, and we'll get you back on next week because you'll have a few days to prepare. But hey, best of luck tonight.
Absolutely. Hey, appreciate you having us on. Thank you again.
You bet. You bet. You're watching the Missouri Sports Network here at MissouriSportsNetwork.com. And coming up now, we've got from West Plains, head coach Scott Womack joins us. And Coach Womack, thanks so much for your time today.
Hey, thanks, Guy. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Coach, kind of take us through this district run this year. You also are playing in Marshfield, I believe. And we just had Coach Simpson on. And tell us a little bit about the districts from your standpoint. You had Marshfield, and now you've got Rolla as well.
Yeah, it's our district was a little different than the boys just because we had one less team. The Catholic boys had got bumped up to our district, whereas Catholic girls stayed down in Class 4. So we just had 7 teams. So us being the number 1 seed, we got that first round bye. Didn't have to play last Saturday. So our first game was Tuesday, and we had Marshfield on their home floor. Played really well in the first half, and I think we were up 26-28 at half, and was able to relax a little bit in the second half. But it's a tough district. It was tough last year. Helias was with us last year, and they dropped down a class this year. But Rolla has been state ranked all year, and they had a really good game against Union the other night, and it was a district that encompassed a lot of Missouri. It went from Union to Camden to Branson to West Plains. So Marshfield kind of was that center point, but with some good teams in there. Union upset Camden that first round, and they have a really nice ball club. But Rolla, we played them earlier this year in our conference game, and they're going to be a tough task tonight.
What do you learn? What did you learn about Rolla, and what are you going to have to really pay attention to going into tonight's contest?
Well, one, the Campbell girl can be really dominant inside when she catches the ball, and we've got to limit her touches inside and do a better job with her. And we fouled them a little bit too much when they got inside. And then 2, they shoot the ball awfully well from the perimeter. They've got about 4 girls that can fill it up out there if you don't get out and defend the 3. And I heard Coach Simpson talking right there at the end, and you'd ask him what one of the keys was, and that's one of them for us tonight is we've got to make a few threes and we got to limit their threes. They're kind of like their boys, and when they get hot from the outside, that really carries them.
And you talked about the toughness of this district. You play Marshfield on their home floor; they've got 20 wins. Now you're facing a Rolla team with 22 wins. It's a pretty deep district.
Yeah, it's been that way the last couple of years. Last year I think we had 3 of the top 5 schools in the state in that district. I think at the time Rolla was like 2, we were 3, and Elias was like 5. And so a semifinal game matchup with Elias was tough last year. Thank goodness we got them on our home floor, and really that was our closest game till we got to the Final Four. But yeah, it's a tough district when they enlarge these districts and combine it. This is kind of like a sectional game tonight, because we're eliminating the sectional game. We're going from 4 or 5 team districts to 18 districts, and so yeah, it is the district championship, but it becomes almost like a sectional game in the past.
Yeah, because you'll run right into the quarterfinals. And what are your thoughts on that? Having done this as long as you have, if the winner tonight is going to be off for 8 days.
Yeah, that makes it tough. I guess it's the same for everybody. Gives you a little bit more time to maybe get on tape and see the other team. Whereas in the past, you played on Friday or Saturday. We played on Saturday before, and all of a sudden you're scrambling on Sunday trying to get some tape, get scouting report. And I'm thinking last year we played on Tuesday was our sectional game, so you didn't have much turnaround, and you are going to have a little bit more time this year. Hopefully you don't get too rusty, but you try to cut down practices maybe a little bit, and like I said, you can get on tape, maybe watch a little bit more, and hopefully be more prepared.
In visiting with West Plains, ladies Iser head coach Scott Womack, 22-4 on the season as they prepare for their Class 5 District 5 championship game with Rolla. Coach, coming into this, you're 6 months into it, 30 games into it. You guys relatively healthy right now?
Well, surprisingly, we finally got there. It's kind of been one of those that at the first of the year, I wouldn't have thought that we would be playing the positions we're playing right now. We lost the Harris girl, 3rd game of the year for the ACL. So that took us a few games to move some people around. We had to move Ashton out of her spot to Drew's spot, and kind of tinkered with that for a while. And we felt like we were getting back to where we needed to be. And we had the big win against Rolla. And the day before we played Kickapoo, the Lawson girl who had 20 in the Rolla game went down with an ankle injury. Her first game back was the other night against Marshfield, so she'd been out for about 2 weeks. So we've got everybody back now, except of course Drew, the Harris girl. She's out for the season, but it's kind of been one of those things where we've kind of had to. I'm one of them that I get a starting lineup and I stay with the starting lineup all year. We've had to change it a lot this year just because of a few injuries, but I think now everybody's figuring out their role, and we'll have everybody healthy tonight.
All right, well, Coach, we really appreciate you being generous with your time here, and Coach Simpson stayed on there to watch a little bit of it. He'd heard about you, he just had never met you, and I was going to bring you on together, and but he's jumped off now and just watching online. But Coach,
he does a good job there. I got to watch him in the Tournament of Champions, and he does a really nice job with that ball club, and I'll get to watch them a little bit tonight too.
Yeah,
hopefully I'll be in a good mood.
Well, he got there's a lot of great basketball going on tonight, and with these districts, I don't understand why they didn't stagger it, where these district chairmen kind of get together and say, "Hey, we'll play on Friday, you play on Saturday, or maybe even Monday."
Yeah,
where folks can get out and watch some games.
And the state earlier this year is on a rules test, came out and said, boys are going to be this night, girls are going to be this night. And it was funny because the first round games and the semifinals were completely almost different nights than what the state said, but everybody's pretty much left their finals on tonight. And probably one of the reasons is because of the referee draft, because most of your quarterfinals for class 1, 2, and 3 are on Saturday.
Right.
So now if you start playing a lot of these finals on Saturday, the officials are going to get split. But I did notice in the northern Missouri, some finals were last night, and that could have been one way to get around it.
Yeah, you bet. Well, Coach, as always, appreciate you being generous, and get a win tonight, you'll have plenty of time next week for an interview because you'll be off
Well,
for 8 days. So
I'd love to interview with you again next week. That means we're still playing.
you bet. Coach, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. Coach Scott Womack from West Plains Ladies Visitors as they prepare for their district championship tonight, Class 5, District 5 versus Rolla at Marshall. We're going to step away here for a little bit, but we'll be right back. Keep it right here, as always, at Missouri Sports Network. And remember, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.